This is Racelet's IndyCar Podcast. Here are your hosts, Fred and Sydney.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Racelet's IndyCar Podcast. I'm Fred.
I'm Sydney.
And on tonight's episode, we're going to talk about everything that was Detroit Grand Prix, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that happened 2 weekends ago in Detroit. We're going to preview this weekend's Bommarito 500 at World Wide Technology Raceway. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Right? Tongue twister right there.
Yeah.
We'll give you our predictions on who we think is going to win this weekend's race. We will go over our grid rival picks, how we did the previous race, and give our picks on who we're selecting this weekend. So, Sydney, start us off. Where do we begin?
Yeah, well, let's just say that Detroit was a crazy race. There was so much drama, so much action on track.
Oh, there was complete chaos. There was carnage everywhere. We have another winner. It's a repeat winner, Kyle Kirkwood. Congratulations. His second race win of the season.
Yeah, so no...
He's now 2 for 2 on street courses, and he is the man. I believe one of us predicted that he would finish up there. I don't know if we said he was going to be the winner or not.
But he was on my podium. I know that.
My podium as well. I think I picked Colton Herta. Yeah. He was also a podium finishing P3. But oh my gosh, this race, I don't like the layout of it.
I don't either. It's very tiny.
Very extremely narrow. Yeah. The passing zones are very difficult. It was more so your pit strategy and where you ended up on restarts after the yellow. There was so much that went on during that race. I mean, let's just start off first, the Andretti dominance.
Yeah.
We both said, I think this was going to be Andretti's race.
Yeah.
And
we weren't wrong about that. I mean, P1 and P3.
Yeah. Colton Herta led for some of it.
Yeah.
Kyle Kirkwood led for the biggest laps, which were the final laps leading to his podium. Big movers this weekend, or last weekend, in Detroit. Santino Ferrucci started P21.
Up P2.
Up to P2, his first podium of his career. Congratulations to Santino. He was the biggest mover. Gosh, where do we want to start? There was so much. That went. I think let's start with a guy who finished qualifying in the top 6, and that was Rinus VeeKay. An unfortunate early end to his race. What happened with Rinus?
Yeah, well, Rinus had a very promising start to this weekend. Starting P6, but that ended early. After he'd only run 6 laps.
Yeah,
due to an engine failure.
And, after what had happened at the 500, he was getting back on track, had a nice qualifying, and then a disaster as his car just had some mechanical failures. Unfortunate for him. 5 cautions in the race as well, which is exciting. A lot of them
back-to-back.
Yeah, we had some back-to-backs. Teammates crashing.
Yeah.
Lap 14 of the race, you had...
Rosenquist and Armstrong.
Yeah.
They just both spun out, I think.
Yeah, and then later on, we had some other... RLL had an interesting...
They did, because they were up in top 5 for a good amount of time, I feel like.
Yeah, Graham Rahal qualified well. He was up there. But then later on, as the race went on, Devlin DeFrancesco just loses a tire.
Yeah, out of nowhere. I don't think anyone hit it.
Wheel nut not secured. His tire goes. There's your second caution of the race. After that, Callum Ilott crashes into turn 1 right there.
Yeah, into the tires.
A lot of just craziness that went on. A lot of moving and shaking as well within the race.
Yeah.
Alex Palou.
What a tough day.
Yeah, let's just say he's human after all. And no thanks to David Malukas for punting him right into the tire barrier. Ended Alex's day at lap 73. Alex, big DNF
Mhm.
Still has a big lead in the standings, unfortunately for everybody else, though. It was they made a little bit of ground
Yeah.
as the race went on. So he was out. Um, David Malukas had to serve
His
a penalty for that. Oh, let's go
drive
back.
through.
How did we even forget about this? Scotty McLaughlin was leading the race at one point,
Yeah.
and then
He hit Siegel and put
yeah,
him in the wall.
yeah, Nolan Siegel's just on a Sunday cruise, and
Yeah.
Scott McLaughlin just rear-ended him, put him right into the wall. I mean,
That gets him a drive through, so.
Scotty's day was over. He then right after Scott took the lead, there was a caution, so he missed
Mhm.
the opportunity to pit,
Yeah.
as he had just pit, I believe, before that. Then he hits Nolan, puts Nolan out. You know, that
Yeah.
just seems to be the series of events going on right now with these Penske
Yeah.
guys. They just can't catch a break. They have really good qualifyings. You think it's going to be their turn. Again, I picked Scott to have a good race. I also picked Will to have a good race. Um,
Yeah.
but so much just wow. I'm following Twitter as the race is going on, and I'm seeing everybody on social media just saying, "Oh yeah, this is awesome. This is what we've all been waiting for." Oop, sorry about that, mic disconnection there, but yeah, everybody uh, wanted this. I think this is an exciting race. It was you didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
The race has proven in the past that it can produce some pretty good crashes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Louis Foster.
Oh my goodness, what a crash that was. Looking at the replays and everything is crazy, but he just like lost it, right?
Yeah, I believe it was like the right rear axle or suspension
Yeah.
broke on Foster's car as
It
they're
just
coming down the back straightaway, and he loses it. He sends his car full sail, unfortunately, right into Felix
yeah.
Rosenquist. Rosenquist, thank God, was close enough to the tire barrier where he took the brunt of that impact.
Yeah.
Not as severe as it could have been. Foster, after the impact, his car just kept going. He had no
Yeah,
control over it,
it
and very scary situation. It wasn't until later on when I watched the onboard of Foster's crash about how scary
yeah.
and how
And how fast
dangerous
he was going during
that
that, like that.
was. Oh, extremely fast.
Yeah.
They're going down that straight. Thank God everybody was okay.
Yeah.
But that big crash right there led to the final
The
yellow
lid.
and then ultimately a red. And restart, we had, I think it was Colton in P1, Will P2.
No,
Yeah,
I thought it was
Kirkwood
Kyle.
P3. No, because
Oh no, you're right.
Kyle took over after that. So after the restart, Will has an incident. He brushes up against the wall. He loses a couple of spots, drop down to 4. Kyle Kirkwood has a little dust
Bump
up
with
with Kiffin Simpson,
which
damages
his front wing. Yeah.
his front left wing. And on the broadcast, they're saying, "Oh my gosh, I think does Kirkwood have to come in? Is
Yeah.
this going to affect his race the rest of the way?" They only had about 15
I
to
mean,
20 laps left to go.
a
Uh,
positive effect for him, I
positive,
guess.
yeah, absolutely. He
um.
overtook, took the lead into P1, and basically cruised the rest of the
Yeah.
way,
I think
even with that damage to his car. Um,
so. Maybe that's
Santino
just what he needs.
Ferrucci, like we mentioned before, finishing P2. Colton Herta P3.
P3.
So that was your podium. Biggest surprise of the day, and this guy is really making waves in a positive direction. He's got two of the greatest teammates
Teammate.
on his
Yeah.
team in Alex Palou and Scott Dixon. But Kiffin Simpson, congratulations,
Yeah.
finishes P5, his highest career finish. I think we may see a podium out of him by the end of the year.
So yeah, I think you could see
He's
that.
doing a fantastic job. Really happy with him. Really happy for Chris Wheeler and everybody else who's been working with him. And you know, what a race weekend that was in Detroit.
Yeah.
Everything that went with it. The one thing that was kind of strange, I thought, was the podium celebration after the race.
Like why are
They got to go walk up to the.
They do, but then it's just them. It's like a bridge.
Yeah, they walk up to the
And the
bridge.
crew's down below them, like.
Yeah, the camera and media is down below.
Yeah.
And they're just getting rained on with champagne. Yeah. That was kind of crazy, but yeah, overall, a really exciting race. Didn't know what was going to happen. We had good results on our grid rival picks, I think. Solid weekend. I did lose a few spots, but overall, it could have been a lot worse. Still happy with the result. And so, yeah, let's touch real quick. Let's show you where the current standings are.
Yeah, so covering the championship standings, currently still sitting at P1, Alex below, and then P2 you have Pato, who's only now 90 points below him.
90 points behind.
Yeah. And then sitting P3 is Cal Kirkwood, 102 points down.
And then you have who? Christian
Lundgaard, Power, Felix.
Okay, so it's manageable still. Still have a lot of racing to go.
Yeah.
But that was a big, significant chunk of points that was made up due to Alex's DNF, only earning 5 points that weekend. So a lot to come. We're gonna see what happens, but the excitement was there. I hope this excitement continues as the season goes on. We need this in IndyCar.
Yeah.
We don't want the runaway. We do love Alex's domination. We love to see him win. It's incredible what he has done. And you know what? He was in 5th place at the time when he was in that wreck too. So he was up there. It wasn't like he was in the back of the field or anything like that. He was still up there. He had a chance at podium. Yeah. But let's see what happens, come this weekend.
Prestige Worldwide. Prestige Worldwide
Technology Raceway. That's what I think of when I hear that. I go right back to Step Brothers. What an awesome movie. Sydney, what should we expect this weekend here under the lights? Father's Day. What are we going to see? We're going to see Joseph Newgarden's dominance?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he can win this one. Just on his season so far, like I'd like to think he can based on his past year and 5 wins. That's a lot, but can he do it based on what
it's hard
this season?
It's hard to be optimistic about anything at this point with anybody on Team Penske. I have every week
you want them to do good.
Predicted, had a feeling that somebody was going to do good, and it hasn't gone that way at all. I'm going to say it again. I do think this is going to be a Penske weekend. They've had great success over the years with Joseph winning 5 races here. Scott Dixon won 2 years ago. He's been very good at this race as well.
Yeah, he's won 2 or 3 times.
Scott McLaughlin has done good as well. Will Power has, I think, 4 poles here, 4 or 5 poles over his career. So those Penske guys, I think, are going to have a good weekend. And one reason why is because this type of oval sets up a little different than, say, like Indy.
Yeah.
It's shorter. Turns 1 and 2 are going to be the real factor. And I think those cars and those drivers know how to deal with that. Now, with that being said, anything could happen.
Yeah.
With the unpredictability that we have seen so far this season. Sid, let's go right into this. It's a night race. Who are your predictions right now? We haven't seen practice or qualifying. That's going to happen tomorrow. So, I mean, that can change based on that. But going as of right now, give me your top 3 for this weekend's race.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Nobody is.
I think that I would like to think that Newgarden can win this one, or at least have a podium here.
Business time!
I would like to think that, so I'll put him up there. I'll put Dixon up there as well because he's won at least, I think 3 times, 2 times.
Dixon's been very good here in the past. Absolutely.
And then Pato has also been very well. He's done very well. He's finished.
He didn't do very well last year.
Okay, well, not last year, but the other years he's finished second, like 3 times.
Yeah, he's had 3 second-place finishes. He started P2, I believe, last year and ended up.
No, he started P8.
Or whatever, you know.
Willpower also, like.
It all has. I think it has a lot to do with qualifying again.
Yeah.
But in this year's field, there's so much parity. It's a tough group of drivers. And like it's been said before, just to crack that top 12 is hard enough as it is. Can you get through your first group in the top 6 to advance? We're going to have to wait and see what happens. I also think Joseph Newgarden is going to do very well. I don't know if he's going to be the winner or not, but I do see a podium for Joseph in my vision here. My crystal ball. I want to say David Malukas may have a good weekend as well. He needs some redemption after what had happened in Detroit. He was having a good race until,
he was.
Just a bad mistake cost him and Alex Palou their races last race. I think David can have a good race. Will he finish on a podium? I don't think so, but maybe another top 5. He's making some headways. He's having a really successful season so far. Santino Ferrucci is also very good on ovals. Can he do well? I'm not quite sure about that, but if I had to pick my winner, I'm going to go with Willpower third. I'm going to go with Joseph Newgarden second. And I'm going to say Pato wins his first race of the season. He's due. It's about damn time. He needs it. And if he could win, and let's just say Alex has another poor performance,
that could move him up even.
This could be game-changing to set up for the rest of the season. I really hope we have a good race. Bommarito under the lights is always exciting.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago, as we're going to get into our grid rival picks here, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but I finished first in the contest. It was a different way of how they did the Indy contest, but my 4 drivers, and I came in first place. Elio won the race. I received a signed hat and some gift cards and stuff like that. I've always done pretty good in my predictions here, so I'm going to stick with those. And as we talk about that, let's get right into our grid rival picks. I need to make up some ground. I lost a few spots from the previous race. I'm currently sitting in the overall thing. How do we see this here? In the overall IndyCar Challenge at 326th place. 4,719 points. I want to try to crack and get into that top 100 here by midway of the season.
Yeah.
Sydney, let's go over your roster of drivers here.
Okay. Mine's not complete, but so far, I have Alex Palou because I had signed him last race for 3 races. I have Pato O'Ward, Joseph Newgarden, and David Malukas so far. So I need 2 other.
So you got to make 2 other picks. Yeah. Why don't you take the time, make those picks real quick, and I'm going to give you my picks here. I have all 3 Penske drivers. I've got Power, Newgarden, and McLaughlin. I also have David Malukas, Pato O'Ward, and in order to fulfill my last roster spot, I had about $100,000 or so remaining that I had to go with Callum Ilott just to fill that last spot. So I've got 5 big bangers here, and Callum Ilott hopefully, does something to get me some points. But I feel pretty confident in the drivers I'm taking this weekend. Who are you going to go with? You got 2 spots to go.
I don't know.
How much money do you have to spend?
Like 21 million.
Between 2 guys?
Yeah.
Well, that would set you up for maybe like a Christian Rasmussen. He's around the
No,
10
I
million
can't take him. I took him last week.
Oh gosh.
What has VK done there?
VK's all right. He hasn't been
Rossi
bad.
hasn't.
Yeah. Well, you have time still.
Yeah.
We don't have to focus on that all the way right now. Sid, anything else you want to talk about? Having that week off in between races.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but this is a tradition that we started last year here with my family for Father's Day. We call it the Father's Day 500. And we go up to the Miniature Golf Family Fun Center in the city just south of us here in Murrieta. And everybody, all of my kids, my wife, my daughter's boyfriend, we all dressed up in our favorite racers' attire, their hats, their shirts, and we did go-kart racing for a few hours. It was a lot of
Yeah,
fun,
it was really fun.
a really cool tradition. We're going to do this tomorrow with the race being on Sunday. That way we can spend Sunday as a family and just watch the race together. But it's going to be a lot of fun. This will now be our second Father's Day 500. I'm really excited to spend that time with you guys. I just hope everybody has a great Father's Day weekend. Everybody out there, if you're not a father, just have a great weekend. Should be a lot of fun racing. Practice starts tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific. So that's 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock in the Central. That's where the race is going to be. Busy day, qualifying at noon. And then we have 2 practice sessions later on in the afternoon as well. So a full Saturday of fun for everybody who's going to the track. Have a lot of fun out there. Be safe. Not sure what the weather's going to be like.
I think it was raining today.
It was drizzly. I was watching the Cubs game earlier today, and it was raining during the Cubs game, and that's not too far from where the racetrack is. It's right on like that Illinois-Missouri border. It's really close to St. Louis. So we'll see what happens. I hope everybody enjoys. We have a good race. No injuries, obviously. We want everybody to be okay. And we will talk again next week, and we'll recap this race and move forward into Road America. Another awesome.
Always a fun one.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight. A little bit of a shorter show. But again, thank you for tuning in. I'm Fred.
I'm Sydney.
And everybody have a great Father's Day weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.